Sorry,
No.
I can't stand quite easily. I just rolled my ankle the other day. You want me to introduce myself?
Please, yeah, no. I think everyone.
I was in that.
That's right. And well, I guess I can still. It's a little more embarrassing to do it with you right here, but let's just set the scene a little bit.
Embarrassing for me.
No. So, this lady's been acting since you were what age?
9.
9. Okay, so by far the majority of her life, and I think I will say has not always been fully appreciated for how good she's been until really this year when fortunately, let's just go through it. First American actress ever to win a César Award, Frances McDormand Oscar. And a handful of Critics Awards, including tomorrow night. She will receive the New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Supporting Actress. And onwards and upwards. So very happy to have you here. And let's talk to begin with about how this project first crossed your radar.
I worked with a producer named Charles Gilbert, who did On the Road, and he was interacting at that point with Olivier Assayas, who directed the film. And really championing his work, and he's a really young producer, which is awesome because it's fun to see young people be forward and risk takers and like actually successful at doing so. And I had done that with him once, and then he introduced me to not only Walter, who directed On the Road, and then Olivier subsequently. So he sort of put me in contact with some of the most incredible people I've ever worked with. And I read the script. It was pretty traditional in terms of how it came together. I kind of missed the mark at first. In this really like unorganized, in a good way, sort of instinctive process of putting a movie together. Olivier didn't think that I liked it because I didn't call him at midnight the moment I read it. I was just like, I don't know, maybe he'll call my agent or something because that's how it works. Right. And he was like, I didn't think that you liked it. And I was like, I love it. I think that we should talk about it. And we did a Skype call, and he was talking to me about Chloe's part for a long time. And the whole time I'm talking about the other part, and all of a sudden we realized that we're not having the same conversation. And I was like, no. There's like really only one part I should be playing in this movie. And yeah, that's it. And then
let's talk about, why is it that you responded so much to this part of Val, which I think makes sense in retrospect. Maybe it didn't to him at the time, but break it down why it clicked with you.
I had just literally missed the opportunity to play that part. He thought of he wanted me to play the part, and then I didn't answer for a while, and so he thought I wasn't interested. Therefore, it went to someone else, and then I called back and fervently was like, "What?" And so he was like, "Oh, we can work it out." Luckily, literally, just kismetly, naturally, thank God, like the stars aligned, and for whatever reason, I was able to. Both schedules aligned, and I ended up getting the part. And if I played the Joanne part, it would be interesting and fun, and I still would have done it. I would have catered to this movie, but it just would have been like fun. It would have been fun. It's just that I could kind of sort of at the same time play both parts if I was able to play Val, because the only way that to really interestingly and like knowingly convey something, I just coincidentally happened to be the perfect mouthpiece for some of the information that is conveyed by my character about another character. So if I played Chloe's part, it would have been sort of ironic and funny and interesting and whatever, but there was so many more layers to sort of look through with the other part that it was just better.
And it was also kind of an opportunity to vent a little bit about subjects that, 100%. Right?
It would have been an opportunity to vent playing her part too, right, but it's just so much more fun to actually vent directly. Like literally to be able to say the words was nice. Yeah.
Stepping back for one moment, what is it about, you at this point can kind of pick your projects and size them and whatever for the most part, and why is it that time after time, with the exceptions of the Twilight movies and Snow White and the Huntsman, you have gravitated towards indies? These are, craft services is not as good. There's a lot of things that are more challenging about doing them, but you come back, you did it before, you did it during, and you've done it since the Twilight movies. So what is it that draws you to them?
When you're trying to figure out what you should be doing, how you should be spending your time, It should never be something that you have to deliberate on a whole lot. And I've chosen each project I've ever been a part of, like, really instinctively. I've always thought so surely that I should be doing or involved in whichever given project I happen to be working on at the time. When it comes to, like, the size of stuff, everything that you look for in a bigger movie, or everything you look for in a smaller movie, is what you hope that the bigger movie has. It's like you want to work with people that just stir you up and just absolutely motivate you in the most innate, like, just make you want to do anything. Every day you wake up, you just feel like you would give your all to something. And so if you don't have that on a bigger movie, you shouldn't be doing it. And it's just that they're more rare because it's again, it's like a bigger risk to take. And so I've only done a couple big ones because it only ever felt right to do those ones. And yeah.
And this one, I think it was at $6 million. It's a tiny movie, slow, like, short schedule. In a lot of ways, it could only have been made in Europe, right? There's a lot of things about it that Hollywood just kind of runs in the other way from. Can you maybe talk about what some of those might be?
Yeah, I mean, the movie's like, about two women sitting in a room talking to each other, which doesn't seem like on paper very exciting. Therefore, you, like, can't sell it. So, Olivier's sort of weight and significance in Europe gave him the opportunity to have a really big budget. Like, considering what the movie's like, it should have been, here it'd be like $1 million movie. He did it this really classically, stunningly beautiful, indulgent way. And usually in the States it would be like, there are small movies, and those are like the raw, gritty, hard to tell story movies. And then a little bit up from there is like slightly more commercial, so we'll give you more money, but you have to be a little bit like more tame. So just the fact that, and not tame in terms of like something that's like shocking, but just tame in terms of like being different, or being something that's not easily digestible, or like, easily, you can't put like, you can't sum it up very easily. So it just wouldn't happen here. The fact that he's from there is actually like you would never be able to, yeah.
So you also said that in many of your movies you played very quiet, introspective characters. This is a character that has a lot to say, and just as an actor, how did you feel about that in terms of the way you approach learning your part, learning your lines? I mean, there are some long, drawn-out exchanges here, and do you sit in the bathtub sort of just repeating them, or what's the technique?
That's what you would do.
That's what I would do.
The way that me and Juliet worked off each other was defined the dynamic that we had in the movie. We got lucky. I'm this sort of younger American perspective, and she's this established, really European, she works. Everything's like, her preparation is a huge part of what goes into doing a job for her, and I'm just like, I want everything to happen by accident. And so I didn't learn my lines. I never did. I'm really lucky. I loved the script, and so it's just easy for me to remember stuff that I like. I wouldn't look at a scene until the morning of, and I had Juliet like chasing me around set trying to run lines with me, and I was like, don't ever say that to me again. I never want to hear that again until we are like rolling camera. So I didn't approach it any differently. I didn't have anything to learn. I didn't have to bring anything that I didn't have to fabricate anything. It was all there, so I just trusted the process.
And the thought process behind that is just you don't want to be over prepared in a sense so that it feels rehearsed, or like it doesn't feel spontaneous.
Yeah, the first, you cannot beat that first experience, and even if you can, even if it's just my perception, even if it's just like, it didn't feel as good for me that time, that's what I want to be. Like, there should be an experience that should be shared. Like, if I'm really discovering something and stumbling upon some idea or some emotion or feeling that maybe we knew about before we started the movie, but that was still naturally found, it's so much better than watching someone like put something together, figure something out, and then show you what they've learned. You know what I mean? It's like, so I always feel like if we rehearse too much and I think about things too much. I just have to trust that initial burst of thought and energy that went into being inspired in the beginning, and just rely on that. And then when the day comes, you're gonna feel it so much more instead of like dissecting it and really memorizing it and learning it. Yeah, it's like lightning in a bottle, you know, like whenever anything happens on set that's really just fantastic, and not in terms of being like, oh, that was good, but just something that feels great, something like everyone learned something, everyone's like moved by something genuinely. Nobody can take credit for that shit. Like literally every single person that was there that day had something to do with the fact that it happened to go like that. And so you just can't rehearse that.
Yeah.